up, family? It's your girl, April Love, and this is another episode of Just Breathe with April Love. And I am having an amazing week. I hope you are too, because with the state of the world being so uncertain, it's just amazing to feel good. I mean, I'm breathing freely. I'm in flow, and I have an amazing guest to share with you guys. Like I said, this season is going to be amazing, off the chain. Like, we have some amazing guests. We're going to pour into you, and who I personally glean from. Like, we got some rock stars. So today we're going to welcome Ebony Porter-Ike. She's an executive producer, an accomplished publicist, brand maven. She's just an entrepreneurial guide for other entrepreneurs. And I can't wait for her to share some of her tips with you guys. So welcome you to the stage, Ebony.
Thank you.
So I'm so happy you made it today. I know your schedule's kind of crazy.
I'm honored that you invited me to be here. Honored.
Yay. So, okay, for those that don't know, because you kind of play a behind the scenes kind of role, like in, you do this, you're a communicator. Just tell the people who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Ebony Porter-Ike. I am the president and CEO of EPI Media Group, which is a global PR, marketing, and branding conglomerate. It's based in Atlanta, but we represent people all over the world, people, companies, entities, and so forth. I also am the visionary and founder for Ebony Eyes Entertainment, where I'm an executive producer there, where I produce documentaries and scripted projects as well. And then also I am the creator of Coinology. And Coinology is a business methodology that I've created where I wrote a series of books, and now I have Coinology, the podcast.
Very cool. Very cool. And then who are you personally?
I'm a mother. I have 2 children. I have a son and a daughter. Yes. I am a wife. I am a friend and a mentor.
So, okay, let's just get into this because you work with very high achievers.
Yes.
Top tier professionals.
Yes. And
we have a lot of those that are tuning in now and those that aspire to be. And so when someone comes to you, what do you look for in a client? Like, which client, like what stands out when you're like, okay, I know there's a next level in you?
You know, April, I think I've been given the gift of being able to see that it factor. I can see when a person walks in the room if they have that it or not. It's not always just about the clarity of thought. It's just something that's burning in them that they can't let go. Some people come into my office and they don't even know what it is that they plan to do. They just have a lot of ideas in their head, and they come to me with the goal of helping them sort it out. And that's pretty much what I think my gift, I know my gift is to help people articulate what their purpose on earth is. Yes. So I look at that more so as a ministry.
Absolutely. And I view what I do as a ministry. So it makes sense that we are aligned.
Yes.
So what's so crazy about it is how many people are walking around here without a full understanding of what their purpose is. How do you think people can really, really, really tap into why they even exist? You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many people frustrated. Let me just preface it by saying, like, Just Breathe is because of that. Because I felt like even in the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, even before, I felt like people walked around just tense, holding their breath, needing all kind of like ashwagandha, and we need to, relax and breathe and take all kinds of, just things to kind of help us process our stress. But why are we so stressed out? Because I feel like when you pivot into your purpose, into your joy, things flow a lot better.
It does. It does. I think the biggest challenge that people have, April, is running from their purpose. And the reason why they run from their purpose is because their pain is in their purpose. And once you have faced into your pain and really truly identify your pain, then you can start working on your purpose.
So you have to do some inner work.
A lot of inner work. And so I always tell people your millions is in your pain.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a multi-millionaire then.
Well, this is what I think. I think that God did not create us to go through the things that we've gone through just because.
Right.
It is there for a testimony. It is there for us to develop and to help build and grow the next generation, the next person.
Yeah.
And I think once we identify that and stop with the woe is me stories,
Yeah.
and more so, thank you, God, for choosing me. Now, what's next?
I firmly believe that too. But some people just get lost in that pain, be it a diagnosis, be it a loss. So many things that we face daily that kind of dictate who and what we are to become. People get stuck in that. So what kind of practical steps do you think people can take to, like, I'm in it now, I'm in this moment, and it could be pivotal. It can change the whole trajectory, or I can get stuck. What is the difference maker, you think?
I think the difference maker is being self-aware and surrounding yourself with people who are not yes men. Okay.
Yes.
Because you need people to pull your coattail and say, wait a minute, this is not going to work. We're going down the wrong path. Also taking the time out to be okay with not being okay.
Right.
I think the problem, April, is most of us feel like we're not supposed to take the time out to say, I'm hurt. Acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Take some time to feel the pain, but you got to get back up. Some people stay down. You got to get back up. And then what's next? What's next? What are we doing next? I think that's primarily it. I think in this time that we live in now, most people are microwave people. They want to just, it doesn't exist. My life is perfect. Everything on social media is shiny and perfect and shiny. And they don't want to deal with the fact that everything isn't perfect.
It's not. That's why you have so much imposter syndrome, because people don't want to be themselves.
People need to take social media, I think, fast.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. Yeah, it can be detrimental to your self-worth, your self-esteem, because you're like, I am really just not doing nothing.
Well, you also comparing yourself to something that's not real.
Right.
Think about how many marriages you see, April, that everything is perfect. We just went to Greece. We went to Rome. He just bought me a new car, da, 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 da. And then next week, we're announcing our divorce. Please give us our privacy.
Right.
I mean, how many times have you seen that?
Right. It's pretentious. And I mean, it's so funny because I've been guilty of being, kind of like tailoring some of those stories in the line of work,
So have I.
And we've done like, okay, let's, just downplay this. We're not going to act like it's a foreclosure. We're going to put it like this, We're
just moving.
Yeah, you're moving because da-da-da, and, we can just shift it. But people do that in their own lives, because people are shamed. They're shamed for being like vulnerable, for going through stuff, for having mental setbacks, especially men. Oh my God. And I'm so happy now that that people are making it okay to discuss things like mental health and just not being okay, like you said. So let's kind of like, shift into the business aspect of things. Because I really want to kind of just have a high level understanding of holistically, how people, as an entrepreneur, because it's easy to get on here and talk about how to make the money and how to do investments and that sort of thing. But what about you? You got a lot of millionaires that have committed suicide. You have a lot of people. So it's so many other factors, or divorced, or, or having trouble with kids. So I really want to just kind of tap into the whole full gamut, because a lot of people are entrepreneurs, are aspiring entrepreneurs, or even people in business, working at businesses, that really want to understand how to get to that next level of who they are. And the self-assessing aspect of it in the personal sense, how do you start to assess where you are in business as an entrepreneur, you think? Like if somebody comes to you and they're not where they should be, what kind of advice do, what I'm saying? Like they don't have their stuff in order, they don't have systems or whatever you assess with. How do you kind of give direction to business owners?
Well, the first thing I do is I look at the foundation, as you mentioned, and I have a real conversation. And that's one of the first things I tell clients when they come on board is that I am a straight shooter.
Right.
But when I give you the feedback, I'm giving it to you out of love. It's not out of someone trying to be critical or painful. But it's all about getting to the foundation of where you are and where you're trying to go. Right. And then from there, it's my job to come up with the plan of attack of how you're going to get there. If I see a client that's struggling in a certain area, it's not my job to sit there and let them continue to struggle. Right. It's my job to figure out how can I help. I think the biggest challenge that most people have, especially in a role such as publicity, is that they don't want to be a servant. to their client. You have to be a service to your client. It's not about you being on the red carpet. It's not about you shining. It's not about you being on the front. It's all about you making them shine. And if you have a problem with that, then this is not the field for you.
Right.
It's not the field. And so I absolutely love seeing other people achieve their goals. I celebrate harder for my clients than I do for myself. And through the years, that's just been what I've stood on. And it's just continued to be a practice that me and the entire agency has functioned on, April. It's just about the service of our clients. Our clients come first.
Wonderful. Awesome. So can we talk about you personally?
Sure can.
As a CEO, mother, wife. What kind of breathtaking moments have you had and what have you done to come on the other side?
I think for me, April, my biggest challenge has been learning how to be a better wife and mother. I have been so driven my entire life that I've always focused on the ball at the end of the room. I just kept looking at this. And I was and I am laser focused. But along that way, you have to know how to take the ones that you love along with you, right? Making sure that you don't lose the people that are important to you with this journey. And I think what really caught my attention, I mean, throughout the years, but in 2019, I lost my brother. And it was just he and I. So now I'm, in essence, an only child, right? But my brother, I was always just he and I. But what it taught me was the times that I can't get back, the moments that I said I was going to call and didn't call, the times that I took for granted. It just made me realize all you really have at the end of the day. I have my mother and my father, which I'm blessed that they're still here. I have my husband and I have my 2 kids. I mean, everything else is there, and I'm blessed to have the friends and the extended family. But the reality of it is I could have lost all that just not being focused on what was right in front of me, which was my family.
Right.
So I had to take some time out and say, wait a minute, let me refocus this.
And so how now that you've come to understand how valuable that is, what practical steps do you take to stay connected with that?
Well, for me, one, I have to make sure that I continue to put my family first, right? So when I have things that are coming up, having those conversations, instead of saying, this is what I'm going to do, let's have a conversation about, okay, how does this impact your schedule? How does it impact you? You know, when I'm traveling on business, I'm asking my daughter, hey, do you want to come with me?
Oh, nice.
Excuse me. My son interns now at the agency, so I'm able to build a totally different relationship with him than I ever, before it was just mom, barking out orders here, there, and the other. Now he's getting to know me from a friendship perspective and a boss or whatever, but it's a different relationship. I'm being more intentional about building strong, long-standing, and that sounds crazy because I've been married now for 24 years, right?
Wow, that's a
for 20. I've been
hand claps. Yeah,
but it's still always a journey, and you have to be intentional about maintaining that because you very well can lose that at any point.
Yeah, and people do daily.
Yep.
Yeah. It's very important. I love that you said it a couple times. Being intentional. I have an intent to make sure you know that I am present with you. I am here for your school play for a child, or I am showing up for you. I noticed that you changed this or you did that. Just being very intentional, because we can be so ambitious and we see it play out over and over, especially women, because now women are really like moving to the forefront, leadership roles and that sort of thing. So it kind of changes the whole family dynamic.
I'm going to tell you, April, one of the moments that will haunt me until the end is I was on an international trip and forgot that my son's 5th grade graduation was happening. And I was in, and I had to call my husband, and he got there, but when he got there, it was too late. Luckily, the neighbor across the street was able to capture photos. And they sent it to me. I was in Mexico. I was in the middle of it, and I just couldn't focus anymore. I felt as if I failed as a mother, as a wife, as a human. Because had I planned properly, one, I would have been there. Two, if I couldn't have been there, I would have made sure my husband had the information so he could have been there. And my son now is 20 years old, but this happened when he was 10. And it haunts me. I don't think I go a month, if not even a couple of weeks, where I don't think about it.
Wow.
And it's gut-wrenching to me because you look at your baby standing there with another family taking a picture for their 5th grade graduation.
Wow. I get it. Yeah. I got a whole visual because there's no doing that over.
There's no doing it over. And it just makes you wonder, like, is it what was so important?
Right.
What was
couldn't
so
have waited? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I try to be very intentional with that too, because the schedules can be bananas. But all these graduations, like I had to rush back to get to a graduation, but all those moments also they feed you too. You know, they keep the humanity in this crazy world. Like, you know, that being with family and friends and that fellowship is nothing like it. So I think that's a good thing for the listeners to even understand. Like, as you pursue, we're telling you, we're your learning curve. Make sure that you don't lose sight of the important things.
And I think another part is people need to realize there's no such thing as work-life balance.
No.
When I hear that, I always chuckle. Something is going to suffer.
Yeah.
That's something. Yeah. And when people are chasing the dream that we talk about, understand that there's consequences and whether or not you're willing to accept those consequences. Is it okay for you to live the rest of your life knowing that you miss your son's 5th grade graduation?
Right.
So those are the things that you have to, you know, really, and that's just one example. That's not the only thing. I mean, that you've missed.
Right.
That you've missed. And then you have to sit back and think, you ask the questions to the people around you. How present are you?
Right. That's the thing. How present are you in every moment? Because our brains, I feel like, have been, what is a good word? Compromised because of social media and this quick microwave stuff. Like we take it's almost like we take information in like little pockets, like reels. Like, think about all the stuff you don't as you scroll and do all these other things. Like, we don't like to answer the phone. It takes too long. So we're impatient about everything. So that plays itself out in your home too. Because you think about, well, I got my laptop out, but I'm here with my kids. But are you here with your kids? Are you here with your husband? Are you actually at dinner? Or are you on your phone? I love the people that no phone zones when you have dinner. When you come together and we have lunch or whatever we do together, put the phone down.
Put it down. I'm really big. So, April, what I've had to do, because I remember, you know, spending time, my husband and I being at the movies, and I'm constantly checking emails. I have gotten to a point now where I have family time and I put my phone away in another room. I love to garden and I love to spend time in my backyard. So my phone is away and I use it as a Bluetooth for music. So that I won't be forced to listen to it. And my hands are all in the dirt. I have learned that it's so important to disconnect.
Oh, so important. Let's stay there a little bit because self-care, sometimes people can identify the self-care that works for them. Like, you figured out gardening.
Yes.
So how do you, kids doing what they do, work is, the staff's got it, your husband's doing what he does. How are you taking care of you?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Gardening is one of the things that I do. I love spa time.
Oh, yeah.
I love spa. I love to read. And to be honest, over the years, I used to be such an extrovert and I have become such a recluse introvert now.
Really?
I find so much enjoyment just being alone. I can just be in my room. I just like to be alone. And I think a lot of that has come through the years of disappointment, betrayal, and pain from people who don't really understand that I just prefer to be alone. So for me, a spa day by myself, at the nail salon by myself. I mean, now I don't want to travel by myself. I have not gotten to a point of being able to go to the movies and travel alone yet, April. I haven't been able to do that yet. But I just being by myself, because this is the thing. I'm always being pulled on.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not the staff, if it's not my clients,
Mm-hmm.
if it's not my kids or my husband, and now my parents are up in age, and so their
Well, all the hours are gone.
Yeah,
If you think of it,
it's gone,
yeah.
and so
you have to schedule you.
I do. I have to do a
I've
better
learned
job.
to do that. Yeah, like there's nothing happening before 5 o'clock on Sundays.
One of my clients had told me that I needed to start putting some days on the calendar and saying these are self-care days. I haven't done that yet, April.
Yeah, those are non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are non-negotiables. They have to be, because I have nothing to give you.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have nothing to give you on Monday. If you're draining me on Sunday, like, working as entrepreneurs, our life is already abnormal. So I work in entertainment. So I'm in the studio or post-production and they want you on the weekends. And I might travel back on a certain day. And then Monday I'm in staffing. When in the world?
I know that I need to do better there. And I've been knowing that for years. And I always say, next quarter, I'm going to implement, I'm going to, and yet again, I find myself chasing that. Remember I said that thing at the end of and as we get older, we always feel like the time is running out.
Yeah.
So
they're like, I only have a window of time to do this. But if we don't do that, time is going to be a lot shorter.
Yep, you're right.
can say that from, my own bout with health and everything. It kind of just was very eye-opening to the sense that, one, the same thing, that time is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised.
Right.
So it does kind of give you that desire to make things happen, to get that bucket list going. But it also makes you very, very, very kind to yourself. Very kind. I'm like, you're not going to force me to answer this phone, because people are something else.
Well, you know what? I will tell you this. I forgot this part.
Yeah.
Since COVID, because COVID really woke me up and made me realize about the time and really tomorrow's not promised.
Right.
What I did do though, I implemented a whole home gym. So I have in the morning, I have a certain regimen that I follow every single day. And before I get on the phone, before I do anything, I get up, I go downstairs, I do my Peloton, and then I meditate.
Nice.
Get my mind consistently.
Oh,
and when I tell you, I have seen so much abundance that comes from that. And I'm not just talking about financial abundance. I'm talking about the quality of life, especially in the midst of that COVID season. You very well could have lost your mind.
Absolutely.
During that season.
Yeah. And a lot of people did.
A lot of people did. But I will tell you that my meditation is something I do not play with. Even if I miss the Peloton, I'm going to go downstairs, I'm going to meditate.
Yes.
That's something that I do consistently.
Yeah. The people that said that they can't meditate, I'm like, huh?
I don't understand. Well, maybe they should start off. What I did was I started off with guided meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have a big speaker system in my gym. And so what I did was just have my Bluetooth.
Yeah.
YouTube, you find some guided meditation segments and start off there. And to me, I just can't imagine my life. I'm like, how did I make it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Before that.
I understand why I got sick. I understand why it was just a lot of anxiety because when I wasn't taking time to do that. And now I lead guided meditation and breath work for some groups and for some clients because I just want everybody to know how important that is. Even in my devotion time and prayer, they're like, well, what's meditation? Okay, you prayed, right? And you professed what it is that you want God to do for you. Okay, now just sit still. And listen
and let him talk to you.
Yeah, right. It's not rocket science, but what it does take you to do is sit down and be present in the moment. And that's why I like grounding too. Like just being mindful of the fact that, okay, what's going on in this room? Because people will walk in a whole scenario. Like I literally think that we've gotten to the point now with everything being so GPS, phone driven, people are just really not even in tune. They probably couldn't even tell you what's happening around them because the car is just driving itself home. You're getting to your next destination. You're ready to use your phone. So you got to check your phone. You got to do this. You got to listen to Siri. That's why I'm also mindful about what I have in the car. I listen to podcasts that feed my soul.
Yep.
I listen to music, and there's so many things that we could do in Atlanta, LA, cities like that. You can get a lot done to take care of you in traffic.
You can.
I know it can be stressful in traffic, but you can switch that up. It's how it's our POV, Yep. So it's just like we have to find the moments. Those moments.
And when you find them, and a lot of times, April, it's part of getting older, you find out what works for you.
Yeah.
And you slow down. You slow down. And so I know
I haven't figured that part out yet. I'm trying.
Yeah, but I just think for me, even in the midst of everything going, I just know during that period of meditation for me, nothing matters. Like I can't express how I feel. I feel like I'm in a different dimension. Like nothing matters at that moment.
Listen to how powerful that sounds though.
It's just one of the most sacred times of the day for me.
Why would anybody not want to access that?
I don't understand.
Know what I'm saying? And the more you do it, the more it becomes congruent with who you are. And you're just like, I can just fall into like that theta or that alpha state and just be like, like this is and the thing is, it's so funny when people try to stir up stuff. Like, even my guy, the kids, whoever, anybody around me, my friends, and want to just, chatter about something that's taking me out of messing with my vibration. I just started doing guided meditation out loud. I am in a surrounded by cooling waters. They're like looking at me like, girl, I'm talking to you. Not about that. Not about that. I'm floating into this. I am not
but
receiving
you find
any
yourself,
of that.
April, too, you start changing the people around you because if you're not talking about positivity, growth, what's next, direction, I really don't have time.
I don't have time.
If you're a gossiper, call somebody else.
Yeah,
because I really don't care about what somebody else got going on.
And talking about people I don't even know half the time.
I mean, I don't care.
I just really don't care how many kids Nick has.
I don't care. Yeah, when I see that, I scroll so quick. It's just like, and then all the negative stuff, the Kardashians, that. Come on.
And then hating on the people. Like, let Beyonce be, let Kim be, let Kanye be.
Yes, be glad for them.
Yeah, what about you, though? Yes. What if you were posted and what would the comments say?
Yes,
okay, so just be.
And while you're talking about Kanye, you need to applaud the fact that he's brave enough to be able to say what he believes in spite of losing everything.
Unapologetically. A lot more of us need to live like that. And I think that's what, I really want to be on the soapbox of. I want to go out here and just yell in people's faces. I just be like, be you. Be authentically you.
Stop being everybody. I think that's one of the things, April, that I did when I first started. I entered this industry was that I decided I was going to be me. I was not going to try to replicate April Love. I wasn't going to try to be Zaptosa. I wasn't going to try to be Crystal. I wasn't going to try to be Angela. I felt like all of these women were great in their own rights, but that's them.
Yeah.
I have to be Ebony. And I think as long as you are okay with being yourself and saying it's okay, I may not be the next Real Housewife, blah, 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 like April. I may not be the next fashionista like Angela. I may not be the next relationship expert like Crystal. But this is me.
This is you.
This is me.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
The best version of you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, and there are people waiting for you to live in your truth so then they can align with you.
That's right.
That's another thing that I come to realize, that people are waiting on me, so I can't be over here like afraid to launch and that sort of thing. So now another thing, as we come to a close, this is a great conversation. I think everybody that wants a publicist, some of them may have a little ego. I mean, it's a special kind of person that wants one, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people know that they have a greater message and a greater thing. So who do you think needs a publicist? Who do you think needs to amplify their message? Because I think people just get kind of confused as to what they need. Everybody wants to build a brand. Everybody's podcasting. Everybody's doing so much. How did they assess, okay, this is time for me to bring it to the masses. This is when I need to find the Ebony.
I think you need to do that when you know that your gift is ready to be received by a large mass of people. Okay. One, I'm going to be honest with you. You have to, have the financial wherewithal. So a lot of people want to go after having a publicist, but they don't have the financials in place. And those two won't go. So one, you have to have the financials in place. Two, you have to have a skill, a service, or a product that will hit the masses. If it's just something that a few people here, your church or a couple of people, then it's not time for that yet. And then you also need to have clarity as to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. If you really don't know what that end goal is, you definitely need to talk to someone first because, you know, we do offer root canal sessions, like onboarding sessions, things of that nature to help people work through the minutia.
Yeah.
And then lastly, April, you gotta be able to do the work.
Yes.
Some people think that they can do the Kim Kardashian, the overnight success type thing. And for the most, I don't specialize in Kim Kardashian success. I believe in putting in the steps that's required so that you can have a long-term, long-lasting, successful career. Right? So you have to be able to do the work. You can't expect that Ebony's going to do it all. You can't expect that Ebony will figure it out. Yeah. You have to be engaged and really, truly understand what it is that you are offering. Absolutely. And it has to be something that a mass of people or entities would need.
I love that. I love that. People got to want it now. You got to be meeting a need.
Yes.
There has to be a tribe waiting for you. But, well, I love that. And that was great advice. And I hope people are tapped in and tuned in. Now, if they do have something for the masses and they do think they align with you, how can people keep up with you?
Well, our business page is on Instagram at EPI Media Group. And then you also can find us at www.epimediagroup.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with
me
today. Thank you so much for breathing into our listeners. And we definitely look forward to having you back too.
Thank you. I enjoyed being here today, April. Thank you so much.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode. And you make sure that you tell a friend, share, subscribe, and make sure that you know that we're on all the platforms: Apple, iHeart, Google, and Spotify. Take care, Season.
Bye.